All right. Now, I want to also know from the point of view of the children. Sorry that I'm just too key on this area because it's very vital for me. It's very important for me because I'm an immigrant. I'm talking to you from Italy. I'm from Nigeria. So this story
Yeah,
is absolutely important for me, how my people in other part of the world are living. So
sure,
is vital for me. So how do the children react when you pass them this information? Because of course, this is not their regular lifestyle. Then you are
sure.
telling them, I don't know, maybe about a king in Africa, a kingdom, or a way of life, a democracy. Then you tell them a different version of democracy because it does exist. The democracy that we have is not the only one that is coming from Europe. There are different way of living. By the time you pass this strange way of living to them, because it's not their way of life, what do they say? I mean, what are their reaction?
Well, it blows their mind a lot of times. I mean, I'll give you an example. There was a couple of weeks ago, I actually went into the classroom and I was given because Columbus Day just passed and we were having a discussion about Christopher Columbus. And a lot of students, again, are from Latino communities and they didn't realize that Dominicans and Puerto Ricans originated from the same tribe, which is the Taino tribe. I know that we're talking about Africa, but I'm just giving you an example because it's all rooted in Africa anyway. But the fact that they didn't realize that their histories are so intertwined, even with the Dominican Republic and Haiti, they didn't realize that these are essentially the same people that were just colonized by different Europeans. So when I actually lay that on them, it just blows their mind because they didn't know it. And a lot of times their parents didn't even know that. There's such division that goes on with a lot of these cultures, and they don't even realize that we're all rooted in the same soil.
Thank you. That is very important, no? All right. Now,
Extremely.
I would also like to ask you like this. You see, many Europeans who are in the United States, because of course the people that are in the United States, that you are an indigenous people in that land, the ready that they want to call it, or you are from every other person is coming from outside. So
Everybody. Mhm.
you if you are a white person, they want to call them, you are coming from Europe, or if you are a black person, you are coming from Africa. So everybody other than the indigenous people is an immigrant. So
Mhm.
what they do is that they try to connect them to Europe. That is what the
Of
white
course.
culture do. So from your point of view as African, I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to know also about the European. It is important
Right.
because
Like I
Europe
said
is part of
before,
this world.
it's a part of the history, but it's only part. It's not the whole story.
Echo. Thank you very much for that. So, do you also make an attempt the same way that they try to connect to their root, which is Europe, that you also connect the children from Africa to the African root?
You have to do that. You have to do it because, again, like I was saying at the beginning of this conversation, there's no hesitation to teach about Aristotle and Plato or Alexander the Great or Caesar, all of these people that come from these European backgrounds. However, they don't know about, Hatshepsut or, Menez or Heru for that matter, because again, it's all part of colonizing the minds and the spirits of people. If people begin to see their own history and realize that they come from powerful stories, it'll just change the whole outlook. But again, I'm not sure some people want to do that because again, it's one thing to colonize land, but when you colonize a person's spirit and their mind, you have them forever and you're able to control them. It's all about control.
Right. You are not sure some people want to do that. And why would they
Yeah,
want to do that?
I don't think they do.
Okay, fine. Um, you know, Another thing also is the conversation, no? Is that when you tell children something that is not part of their regular life, of course, they take this information home. And this one triggers some kind of conversation when they get home. Of course, they return to school because there is this relationship between the school and the family because both of them are working together for the progress of the child. So each of them need to be sincere to the children in the sharing of this information. I don't know if you have had the occasion that maybe some parents come because what they are learning in school, they brought it home for this, they want to clarify some issue like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking, I'm just telling you what I'm thinking.
I think that for the most part in my career, the only feedback that I've received from parents, particularly African American parents, is that they want more of it. The actually negative feedback that I hear about in the news with this whole critical race theory that's become controversial, it typically comes from people outside of the community because they're afraid that something's going to be said or taught that's going to disrupt the harmony that happens in their communities. Why do you want to teach children about the racist acts that have happened here in America? That's only going to make people more angry. I'm not sure it'll make them angry, but it'll definitely make them more enlightened. So, no, I don't really get that. But to answer your question, I really haven't had any backlash or negative feedback from parents, because I think they want their students or their children to learn about these things. More often than not, the backlash comes from other people.
Thank you very much for that. Of course, yeah, the conversation must go on. We must talk about this thing because it affects us. It is about us. So if somebody is saying now that because you teach the children about their origin, it's going to become a problem, then that person must explain to me why they are telling them about about Europe, because
Thank
United
you.
States is not Europe.
Thank
So
you.
if you're telling them about Christopher Columbus, it's not disrupting the society. So tell me how telling them that they are coming from Egypt, they are coming from a great civilization like the Zimbabwe, how that is going to disrupt them. So I don't even understand that.
They're afraid of it. Even if you go to the Metropolitan Museum, for whatever reason, they have your African section and then they have an Egyptian section. I mean, what is that about?
Why did they do that? So there, yeah,
You know
a
what
lot
I
of
mean? But as if Egypt is not in Africa. You know what I mean? But again, it's all about empowering people. When people begin to feel empowered and know about their history, it just changes the whole, it changes the scene. And again, I'm not sure that people want the scene to be changed. They want, African children or African-American children, whenever they think about their history, the first thing they think about is slavery. Our history didn't begin with slavery. We're the oldest people on this planet.
And that is very important. The children must know that, because, I've interviewed some people who, of course, I've had different kind of experiences, because it depends on who you are talking to, because all of us didn't have the same experience. If you meet that is talking to you, if you put 2 or 3 Nigerians together to talk to them, they're not going to tell you exactly the same thing, because we didn't have the same experience. We are all individual, but of course, we must know our source. That is very important.
We must know where we come from.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. You are also an urban leader, I read, no? So I want you to tell me something about urban leadership.
Okay. So other than being an educator, I'm also a community servant. I'm a volunteer. A lot of the work that I do is for the Rotary Club of Patterson. We do a lot of work around the community because, again, there's a lot of need. So that's something that I also take pride in. But, I don't know if you want to ask any specific questions, but as a Rotarian, we take pride in, service in our community. And a lot of times we make sure that we concentrate on young people.
So actually, I'm more interested in exactly what you do with these people. It's like maybe you organize a kind of symposium, you organize a kind of a competition. I'm trying to sort of understand what you do there, this community service.
Okay, so there's been a wide range of things in the 10 years that I've been a Rotarian. Some of the things that we've done, we've actually helped to build a water well in Haiti. That was one of the greatest projects that we've done. Right now, our Rotarians participate in a veterans pantry where they give foods and services to veterans once a month. We've actually had scholarships where we've given money to students that are currently in school. So we do a wide range of things. We, have food drives. We've had blood drives. So whenever we see that there's a need in the community, we try to, galvanize people to help.
All right. All this year that you have worked in the educational sector, what would you say you have learned personally in working in this sector?
I think the thing that I've learned and I continue to learn is just how much these students have an unlimited potential. I know what it's like to go into a classroom and give information or teach lessons that students value and just see the way that they react to it. A lot of times we think that, students aren't capable of learning. In the 13 years that I've been in education, I've never met a student that can't learn, and I've never met a student that can't thrive. I know it sounds corny and cliche, but all students are capable. You just have to find a way to engage them. And that's just something that I continuously see when I'm in the classroom. And it always blows my mind when you have a student that people feel like they're one way, but once you find a way to engage them, you find out that student is extremely bright and has a lot of potential.
Now, from the point of view of a teacher, say maybe you want to pass a message to the parent, because like I said before, building and helping the children to grow and become better people is a responsibility that is not only for the school, but also for the parents. Say the parent, therefore, are there your partner. If you were to tell them something or how to help you do your job better for the progress of the children, what would you say?
I would just say that, concentrate the most on discipline and manners and behavior. Because again, there's no class for that. As teachers, we always find ourselves having to find ways to teach students right from wrong and manners and discipline. I know that's something that comes along with the profession. However, it's also something that starts at home. If a parent works with a student as far as how they should behave and how they should conduct themselves when they're in school, I think that if you have a good teacher, they can do the rest.
Thank you very much. Now, to conclude this conversation, what would be your final message?
Real simple. Like I said before, each one teach one. When you come into valuable information, just make sure that you find a way to pass it on at least to one person, because I feel like a lot of times we hold things that are valuable inside and keep it within our own family or within our own community when there's many people outside that could use that valuable information. And to me, that's all a part of education. What good is an education if you don't share it with anyone?
Thank you, Dr. Heru. It has been a pleasure on my part. Thank you so very much.
It was definitely a pleasure, and I look forward to following you in the future.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.